action, suspense, sleuthing, cats working as drug mules? These are some of the things you're going to experience in Pinnacle City when you play Pixel Noir, currently available on Steam and coming soon to Nintendo Switch. Pixel Noir is a JRPG-style action-adventure game that has roots in old-school SNES Genesis-era RPGs such as Earthbound, Shadowrun, Super Mario RPG, and games like that. You are the detective, an up-and-coming promising police cadet who gets caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. After being blamed for the death of your partner, you are sent to jail, released, and begin life as a private investigator for hire. You're given a chance to clear your name and, with the help of some friends, set off through the streets of Pinnacle City. The game's artwork is fantastic. The dark and gritty world comes alive with neon signs under street lamps. Each of the city's areas has its own unique feeling and flair, so that it doesn't feel like the same location, just with a different shade of paint. A lot of time and effort was put into these areas, obviously, and the buildings within the city blocks to give the player something fresh to experience as they move through the city. Cutscenes are played between chapters and resemble that of a motion comic book style, and they fill in the gaps from chapter to chapter in an immersive way. The soundtrack is phenomenal. Composed by Kunal Majmudar and Hiroki Kikuta, there are so many tracks in this game that just absolutely hit and set the tone of all the scenes. And not only is the music masterfully composed, within the game, the team applied filtering, which means that when you're outside, you hear one variation of a song, and when you walk into a building, you hear a slightly different variation. When you get into a battle, you hear another different variation. The fluid motion of these allows you to truly immerse yourself in the world of Pixel Noir. As you progress through the game, you're introduced to new characters who can join your party, as is standard for games of this type. From Deuce, the professional muscle, to Woof, your bro with fists of steel and a heart of gold. Each character has a backstory that you get to explore and learn more about your friends and enemies in the game. Weapons and armor are purchased from various shops around town, and they can be further customized with add-on items. This works great when you're attempting to build your character in a specific way, such as speed, or power or defense, and carrying multiple accessories allows you to change your gear to meet the specific challenges found along the way as you fight new enemies or enter new areas of the city. The combat system utilizes an active time battle system. The top left area depicts a turn order, and the speed your character moves along that track is changed by their agility stat. Character attacks and defenses are performed using timed hits or quick time events type of thing, and it's very similar to the system used within the Mario RPG titles. While these types of attacks aren't technically required, performing them correctly will allow for large boosts to either your attack or defense, so it obviously pays off to learn the system and get accustomed to it. Now, I'm not somebody who's particularly great at these types of combat systems. However, about a third of the way through the game, I was hitting them consistently enough where it almost felt abnormal for me to miss them. My personal tip to hit these consecutively is to wait until just before the reticle disappears. It seems to be the sweet spot. Throughout my playthrough, I did run into a few bugs within the game that halted my progress, but the devs of the game are aware and actively working through these as they come up and they're found, and at the time of writing this, I've successfully ran through this game twice from start to finish, completely bug-free. However, if you should run into any issues at all while you're playing the game, the devs are incredibly active and receptive over on their Discord channel, which I'll put a link to it in the description of the video below. Considering that this game is created by a very small indie team, I kind of feel that these things are sort of expected, and with some small communications, they're immediately dealt with. A huge shout out to Len and Leo, who not only assisted directly with my playthrough, but they also came in to check on me while I was streaming the game, just so that they could see somebody playing it live. A couple small things that would have been nice to see within the game: the combat can get a little bit repetitive depending on the situation. For example, when you knock out an enemy, they kind of sit on the screen in a KO state, and then depending on that enemy, they can get back up and charge at you. And if that happens, it typically results in an extra battle. However, it's not necessarily an awful thing. This allowed me to earn extra money in-game as well as extra experience, which basically just pushed me forward in the game a little bit further. Also, I would have liked to see the ability to skip cutscenes after they've been viewed, especially during the New Game Plus mode. I mean, the story is great, but it's nice to be able to cut through some of that when you just want to get through and play some of the game. All in all, if you're someone who loves JRPGs of the 16-bit era, this one's probably right up your alley. My complete playthrough lasted about 12 hours or so, which felt about right. And once you've completed the game, it offers the ability to play a New Game Plus, which essentially allows you to play through it again with your power-ups, items, money, everything you earned from the previous playthrough. And it opens up the ability for you to choose different options along the way to explore the story in its full capacity. Pixel Noir is currently available on Steam, and it's coming soon to Nintendo Switch. I did my run through on Steam with a controller, which that felt a little bit better than the keyboard, but of course your mileage may vary depending on what you're most comfortable with. I think the game was worth what it cost. That's standard price $20 Canadian, and I've seen it as low as $5.99 Canadian during the big sales. American, that's what, $20 Canadian to like $1.50 American or something, the conversion. It gave me enough to play through it at least a couple times, and not to mention you're supporting indie developers, which I gotta say, they need all the love and support that they can get these days. Thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed this review, I'd really appreciate it if you click that thumbs up button on the video, or if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button to the channel. You can find me live here on YouTube Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as well as on Twitch the same time frame. I also have a collection of other videos on here. If you'd like to check them out, feel free to stick around and do so. But either way, I appreciate and love you all. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next one.